I am Genevieve de la Cour, the sole heiress of the de la Cour group and darling of New York's Upper East Side. My life should have been all about champagne, parties and haute couture, but instead, I found myself captivated by a man named Julian. Vance in Brooklyn. He was a poor scholarship boy, who clawed his way into the Ivy League, with a brooding gaze and burning ambition. And I was the fuel for that ambition. That night, a torrential rain poured down on Manhattan. A phone call from Julian complaining of his chair had me under asphalt. I personally had my driver take a custom-made stomach-soothing soup from a Michelin-star red restaurant across the city to his dilapidated, walk-up apartment building. As I carefully navigated puddles in my high heels, I slipped and fell hard onto the ground. The expensive soup spilled everywhere, but more importantly, something in my mind seemed to crack open. A flood of memories that were in time rushed in. How Julian used my money and connections to turn his startup into a tech giant, only to then kick me to the curb and live happily ever after with his true love, an independent actress named Alara Hayes. My eventual fate was family bankrupt, sigh, and a ruined reputation. We're going back, I said cold deli to my assistant as I got up from the freezing ground. But Miss de la Cour, Mr. Vance, is... I slammed the costly food container into an Irby trash can and then crushed it with my mud. Patted Jimmy Two Heels. Who is he to me? Just then, I heard Julian's voice from a second floor window, followed by a woman's soft reply. It was Alara. His pure and true love had been with him all along. According to the plot, it should have stormed up there to create a scene, adding another stepping stone to their faithful love story. I said nothing and just turned and left, back in my penthouse on 5th Avenue, with a view of Central Park. My butler had a hot bath with aromatherapy, ready for me, as I soaked in the tub, sipping mineral water flown in from Fiji. I suddenly found it all so laughable. I am Genevieve de la Cour. What kind of man couldn't he have? Why would he waste my time on Heiress? Who wanted to climb his way up using me? The next day I woke up on my terrace, which was big enough to land a helicopter on, and received a text from Julian. It was just a single question mark. I had failed to deliver his soup last night, and he had the audacity to question me. His contact information and blocked him on every platform without a second thought. That evening I attended a charity gala at MoMA. According to the plot, I was supposed to run into Lara there and humiliate her in public, planting another landmine that would contribute to the de la Cour group's downfall. Lara was there, just as expected, standing quietly in a corner, in a white dress that seemed bent a little out of place for the occasion. A woman named Beatrice Vanderbilt leaned in and taunted me. Genevieve, still haven't landed your Brooklyn boy toy? I heard he's getting cozy with that bit part actress. I elegant, lie, swear, led my wine glass and laughed softly. Beatrice, instead of worrying about my love life, you should be more concerned about your father's trust fund. I heard the IRS is taking a special interest in it lately. Beatrice's face went pale instantly. I then raised my voice so that everyone around me could hear. Just to be clear, I, Genevieve de la Cour, have never had to chase a man. If there were any misunderstandings before, let's end them tonight. Julian Vance. He was nothing more than a passing amusement. And now I'm bored. Everyone present, including the young man who had once coveted the de la Cour families, looked surprised. Just then, I saw one of Beatrice's followers accidentally spill a glass of red wine all over Alara's dress. Alara looked flustered, and the situation was incredibly awkward. Instead of humiliating her, as I did in the plot, I walked over to her, took off my coat, and draped it over her shoulders. I have a spare dress in the car. My assistant can take you to change. Lara looked at me in shock, and finally whispered, "Thank you." During the rest of the gala, I abandoned my tedious US social rounds. Instead, I sought out a few young entrepreneurs who were relatively unknown then but would eventually shake up Wall Street. One of them, a man named Leo Katz, had an e-commerce platform that would one day become Asian rivaling Amazon. He went straight to him and extended an olive branch. A few days later, Julian stormed into my office in Times Square. He looked disheveled, his suit wrinkled. "Genevieve, how dare you kick my team out of the office? The equipment is mine." He roared like a cornered animal. Standing behind me was my new business partner, Leo Katz. I looked at him with disdain. "It leaves the office. I bought the equipment. I paid the team's salaries. Even paid your cousin, the receptionist who can even use Excel. Julian, why do you think any of it is yours? You, you deceitful woman. Is it because you found someone else?" He pointed at Leo, his words spewing. "Women like you just play with, men using your family's filthy money." I didn't say a word. He just walked forward and slapped him hard across the face. "First, Mr. Katz and I are equal partners. Second," I leaned in and whispered so only he could hear, "unlike you, I don't need to rely on anyone. You were just a pet ego bored of security dragged ass grooming." Julian out of the office. The drama didn't end there. After I pulled my funding, Julian ran to Lara and played the victim. Kind-hearted Lara fronted him money from her acting salary to help him out. He used it to buy a new suit, and went back to his alma mater to give a lecture on starting from scratch, rebranding himself as a self-made entrepreneurial icon. He never mentioned my help. My assistant, working anonymously, posted screenshots of our past conversations, filled with messages like, "Send another 5 million, and the project is short on cash," to the university's online forum. Overnight, Julian earned the nickname Mr. Gold Digger, and the internet went wild. He still had the nerve to come back to me, saying he knew I did all of this to force him back into my arms. He claimed Alara was just the girl next door, and that he'd come back to me in a heartbeat. However, his heartfelt confession was heard loud and clear by Lara, whom I had intentionally invited to stand just outside the door. Alara burst into the room, her expression as if she had swallowed a fly. Without a word, she began slapping Julian back and forth, delivering dozens of loud resounding blows. "Julian Vance, you hypocrite. You spent Genevieve's money, then you come to me and say how she still one pestering you, and now you're back here begging her. You are the most disgusting, spineless man I've ever met. Even a prostitute makes their money more honestly than you." A video of Alara tearing into him went viral, igniting a firestorm online. Netizens dug up dirt on him, including his past involvement in online communities that taught men how to seduce rich women, and even uncovered plagiarism scandal from his college days. Julian was, for all intents and purposes, socially dead. The rest of the story is simple. The e-commerce platform I invested in, Echelon, became a huge success. Under my leadership, the Cour group successfully pivoted, caught the internet wave, and expanded its portfolio several times over. I acquired Beatrice's family's film company, established a new entertainment division, and put Lorraine in charge. She became master with an independent film I funded, and eventually won an Oscar on the award stage. I was the first person she thanked. We became New York's most dazzling twin stars, the most powerful female alliance in business and arts. As for Julian, I heard that he later got into a fight over a scam and had his face, which he was so proud of, slashed. He completely disappeared, becoming nothing more than a punchline people used in passing. Elara and I were no longer trapped in that ridiculous script centered around a single man. We stood at the peak of our respective fields, shining brightly like two suns. The parasites, living in the shadows, could only ever exist in the darkness.